Hey guys, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast here, joined this morning by Vasu Vaddiparty. Now, Vasu covers MLB for two major networks, as well as the Pac-12 football and basketball. He's the host of Make the Money and Run and a conversation with Vasu Vaddiparty. Vasu, how's the morning treating you?
Hi, Joe. Nice to see you. Lovely to see you. Hope everything's well with you.
Everything is fantastic. Now, you guys, if you're looking to follow Vasu, where can they find you on all social media outlets?
You can find me on Facebook under Vasu Vaddiparty, on Twitter at VParty Sports, on Instagram, VParty Sports as well, too. Lots of sports talk, lots of nonsense, lots of good stuff going on. And once again, if you want to get some good stuff, I steal all my stuff from Joe. So we're all good here.
Now, Vasu, we've known each other quite a while now, but I've never heard your story into the industry. How did you get started?
Well, I played baseball in college for like a year or so, and I got hurt, and I started doing campus radio at San Jose State. Shout out to my San Jose State Spartans. Started doing it, enjoyed it, never really thought about it as a career. A few years after I graduated, I got a business degree and a communications degree. A few years after I got started, somebody asked me to do a show in Monterey, California, which is not a bad place to go every week if you've seen photos of Monterey or Pebble Beach or anything like that. So I'd go on Saturdays, and I'd do the show on Saturday evenings. Sometimes they'd put me up, sometimes they wouldn't. It's not a bad way to go. Hey, in the 90s, when I was in my 20s, I was dating somebody. Hey, you want to go to Monterey for a night? Just let me have 2 hours. It's all right. Everything will be good there. But so I kind of got started in that, and then one of the networks got a hold of me. A friend of mine worked at the network when they first got baseball in the 90s. Kind of been with them, an independent contractor, so I've had different things going on. I'm around the Giants baseball club during the week when they're at home, and then I travel on the weekends, and now I've got Tuesday night baseball going on, and then in the fall and winter, Pac-12 football and Pac-12 basketball, and kind of got out of the corporate world here the last 10 years or so, and kind of doing this and kind of making my way through, kind of muddling my way through like we all are.
Yeah, absolutely. Great step out of the corporate world for sure. Definitely the right career choice. What's your favorite part of this industry then, Vasu?
Well, I'm a big baseball fan, so I love being at baseball games. I love covering baseball. The favorite part of the industry from a broadcasting sense is, I want to do some play-by-play. I did some play-by-play before. Always wanted to do it now. Now it's kind of getting past the point where I'm just happy to be at the games and kind of do my work and then kind of just go enjoy a few innings or whatever, and then go find myself an adult beverage and enjoy the rest of the game.
That sounds like a great plan. Well, we've got the NBA Finals, Vasu. Any thoughts on this? We got the Boston Celtics here versus the Golden State Warriors. This is going to be a fantastic matchup. Kicking off tomorrow night, we've got the Warriors here as the favorite, 3.5-point favorite. We've seen the total actually move from 211 to 212.5. Any thoughts on this game or the series as a whole?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm getting all the advice from all the Bay Area people here that I'm living in. Obviously, everybody thinks the Warriors out here are going to win in 5 or 6 games, but I wouldn't underestimate the Boston Celtics at all. Jason Tatum's had a fantastic year. Jaylen Brown's been kind of up and down, but their key is their defense. Marcus Smart and Robert Williams III, they've both been in and out of the lineup. They were able to get by Miami in 7 games. 7th game was Sunday. Smart and Williams both played. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Steph Curry. Of course, out here in the Bay Area, people are very upset because Marcus Smart is the one that injured Steph Curry. He missed the final 12 games of the regular season by falling on Curry's leg and keeping him out of the regular season. Kind of kept the Warriors down into third place instead of having home court advantage. So it's going to be interesting. They split the series. The Warriors won in Boston. Boston came out here and won in San Francisco. It's going to be good shooting, good offense from the Warriors. The Celtics have great defense, but they have a very good offense as well too. I'm sure you watched it a little bit, but the Celtics, boy, when they get hot, when they start shooting, I think they made like 59% of their 3-pointers one game against Miami. Every game that they lost, they came back and won after. But I think they covered every game. In fact, after they lost, so they covered on Friday night, on Sunday against the Heat in Game 7 by a very lucky Jimmy Butler taking a 3 and missing it. And they were able to cover the 3.5-point spread. So it's going to be a very interesting series. The fact that the Warriors have home court based on records, they're 53-29 coming into the playoffs, and Boston was 51-31. They did miss Tatum and Brown a little bit during the year. Of course, the Warriors missed Curry. Klay Thompson has come back now. Klay Thompson is on fire. The way he played against Dallas, the one game he had 39 points. It's just unbelievable to see how fast he's come back in 2 years with 2 different injuries and missing 2.5 seasons to where he is. And Jordan Poole's been outstanding. Their offensive rebounding, Kevon Looney has been great. It's just going to be a battle of wills right now between. And by the way, we're talking about offense. Both these teams are 1 and 2 in defense in the playoffs right now, so they're locking it down, and it's going to be very interesting to see these totals. I think after game 1, I got a feeling these totals might go down a little bit because we're going to see a lot of defense. We may see a couple of blowouts here like we did in the conference finals, but I think the games will be pretty close, and we'll see how it goes in game 1. 3.5, you said, huh? The series price is 155 or 160 for the Golden State Warriors. I think that's probably because they have the 4th game at home. They have game 7 potentially at home. But I like the Warriors. I like the Warriors in 6, possibly 7. Wouldn't surprise me if Boston won. Get back to the individual games to see how the point spread goes based on the games before. But we'll see how it goes. What do you think, Joe? I know you're watching basketball.
I love your thoughts on this total for sure. Looking at these totals falling down as the series goes on, because I agree with you. We opened at 211. I expected us to drop down to 209, not to go up to 212.5. So I was shocked by that. I definitely think we got a strong defensive series. Overall, if I think you take all the games, you're going to hit more unders than overs when these two teams match up. But I do think Golden State takes the win here. I just think they're deeper. And like you said, they can go on these highs with their shooting. And I think they will just outscore the Boston Celtics and out-defend them as well. So I think we've got a great series, but I've got to give it to Golden State, Vasu.
All right. You're going to make my Bay Area friends very happy.
Well, that's good. I like happy people. That's for sure. Now, what about, I know you're a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. The NHL has been incredible. These playoffs, I think, rivaled NBA playoffs. We're not getting these huge blowouts. We're getting fantastic competitive games. Any thoughts on your Tampa Bay Lightning? Can they get
my gosh.
The Rangers?
First of all, the fact that they went into Florida and won 2 road games. It was supposed to be an in-state rivalry to go in against the Florida Panthers and to get those goals late. The game 2 goal came with 3.5 seconds to go. I forgot who scored the goal. I'm not up on the hockey players itself, but I know the Lightning to go in and sweep Florida, the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, and to get 2 wins on the road and basically have 2 games at home. I think Vasilevsky has played great. The Rangers goalie, Igor's played great as well, too. Offensively in the West, it's been totally different. I don't even know if they have a goaltender in the West right now because everybody's scoring. But the Lightning right now, they're a 2-time champion. I know people say the bubble and all this other stuff, but they're really good. And they've got guys that can play and they can defend. And you've got a wall back there in Vasilevsky. I mean, I just can't see how the Rangers can get by them. It seems like to me, and you tell me, you watch a lot more hockey than I do. It seems to me that defensively, Tampa Bay is more solid than the Rangers are right now. And the fact that the Rangers got a Game 7 win in Carolina just shows that anything can happen in a Game 7. But the fact is that Tampa Bay played great defense. They shut out a very good Florida Panther team in 4 straight, and the Rangers had to go 7, which probably is the best scenario for the Lightning, for the Rangers to go 7 games, so they have only a day rest coming into today. So I probably look at Tampa Bay, at least in Game 1. Although they're on the road, the Rangers are at home. I believe that's right. Yeah, they're on the road. Rangers are at home, and they're still a favorite, though, at 130, 5.5 tonight. I don't know what the series price is. You might have the series price there. But I got to think Tampa Bay is kind of a slight favorite in the series.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting one, Vasu, because we know the Lightning are solid off of rest, but this much rest, they've had, 8 days rest? I'm worried they might come out that little bit rusty. New York coming in with momentum. If New York's going to steal one early, I think it's this game, not game 2. I just could see them with the momentum here. And the underdog between these two, really interesting. 4-1 in the last 5 meetings.
I like underdogs. I like underdogs, but it's pretty tough. Not just because I'm a Lightning fan, but it's pretty tough too. Are they really stealing one if they're at home? We know the series don't start until a road team win. Forget the point spreads on the line. Series don't start until a road team wins a game. And Tampa Bay started that series in Game 1 against Florida, and they went on to sweep, and it turned out to be a sweep for them. And the Rangers, I mean, the series didn't start until Game 7. They finally won as a road team in Game 7 in Carolina. I followed it closely, but I didn't follow it as closely. But I was a little shocked that the Rangers went into Carolina and kind of really dominated them on Monday night.
Oh, I expected it. Gonna be honest with you. The Rangers just were playing such a better game than Carolina. Watching them on the ice, it looked totally different. Igor Shesterkin is absolutely phenomenal. I think he's a difference maker here. So I'm looking at the two goalies tonight and going, okay, Igor is not rested, but he's not going to come in rusty. Will Vasilevsky come in a little rusty here in this one? That's a question mark. I think the under is a great way to take this one, Vasu. Any thoughts on the total? This total is 5.5. Think
5.5.
lower score.
5.5 has been what I've noticed in the NHL playoffs. By the way, what you said earlier about these NHL playoffs, I say they've been better than the NBA playoffs. We had a lot of blowouts in the NBA playoffs. 5 game 7s in the opening round. I mean, my friend and I, we were up in San Francisco with the baseball games, and to see these game 7s just roll around every day, 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, was just unbelievable. So I'm totally with you on how these NHL playoffs have gone through. There's no doubt in my mind that these have been the best NHL playoffs in a long time. But as far as tonight goes, I would lean in the earlier games toward under in these games because of the fact that they don't worry so much about the series being over, because then you got to pull your goaltender out, you got to get your net out and everything like that. So it's going to be totally different from that. So I kind of like the under from that standpoint. But as it gets later in the series and teams are more desperate and they pull their goalies out earlier, then those empty net goals, we know those empty net goals hurt our totals on the unders. We've had them all NHL season. I think you and I had a conversation about that as well too, Joe.
Yeah, they absolutely do. You've got to fear those empty netters for sure. Now, I know that you cover a lot of MLB. Is there anything that you're looking at in today's games?
Yeah, today's games I'm looking at. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 day games, 3 o'clock or later, or 1 o'clock or later Eastern time, 10 o'clock out here very early on the West Coast. It's been, as I look at the standings, the Yankees have started off slow, but now they're red hot. They're 34-15. They've already got a 5.5 game lead on Toronto. Tampa Bay is down there. They're 6 back. Minnesota's played pretty well, better than I thought, even though they've lost a couple of games. They had a big win in Detroit yesterday. They're leading their division by 5 games. They've lost Correa out to COVID right now, so hopefully he gets back. The Astros have been dominating the West over the Angels. Angels have played really well. Ohtani has been unbelievable. I'm sure he's a story everywhere around the world right now with how he's playing. They're 5 back, but they've got a couple of injuries right now, and their pitching staff is really has struggled a little bit. They're waiting to get some guys back. Syndergaard got hit up a lot in New York last night. In the National League, I mean, both New York teams are playing well. The Mets are 34-17. They're just rolling. They're just rolling the East. They're already 10 games up on Atlanta and 12.5 up on Philadelphia, Miami, and Washington. So the Mets, right? And here's the thing about the Mets, Joe, and I'm sure you got a lot of New York people. The Mets have done this without Jacob deGrom even throwing 1 pitch this year. They lost Noah Syndergaard. To the Angels, so he's not even there. And then Max Scherzer got hurt 6 weeks ago, and so they're piecing their pitching staff together. But Buck Showalter's a good manager. He's got the players this year. He's doesn't really have the starters, but offensively they're second in baseball in scoring runs, and we know that they didn't score runs in the past. They were always a good under. And then Milwaukee yesterday, beating up on the Cubs. They're 3 up on the Cardinals, who are playing well. And then my Dodgers, 33-16. They are best record in baseball percentage-wise. They've lost 2 in a row. For all the sports wagers out there, and we know this, you can't bet on the same team every day. They're going to lose games. And I know people are upset that they lost to the Pirates the last 2 nights, because who would think that you'd lose to the Pirates? But it happens. Now watch. They're going to have 1 more game against Pittsburgh today. And then the Mets come in for 4 games. So watch them get all amped up for the New York Mets, the 2 best records in the National League. And they may take 3 out of 4 because they're in L.A. And then everybody will forget about what happened against Pittsburgh, losing 2 out of 3, if they win today, if they don't get swept today. But for the most part, baseball's been pretty exciting. I'm glad. I know they started a couple weeks late. I know a lot of people are disappointed with how the season started and the doubleheaders and the fact that billionaires and millionaires are fighting with each other. But hopefully that's all in the past. We're all good. I love the sport. I think a lot of people still like the sport. It's not as popular as it once was, but it's still a great sport to watch. It's still a great sport to play every once in a while as far as the sports wagering goes. But it's going to be an interesting season. We got a month before the All-Star break, month and a half before the All-Star break. So we'll really see where everybody is. We're about a quarter of the way through the season. Everybody's at 40 games right now, 45 games right now, Joe.
it's crazy to say, quarter of the way through the season at the moment. Any thoughts, Vasu, on the balls and all the controversy with these balls?
Well, I mean, I guess it's a controversy because they have humidors in every stadium now. I don't know if it's the fact that it's like life, Joe. Life is cyclical. So baseball is cyclical. People complain about the home runs and lack of pitching, and so they do something to the baseball. And so now pitching is back in force. I don't have the stats with me, but I know home runs are down. And I know pitching is up a little bit. The one thing about pitching, maybe it's going to be cyclical again. As a baseball player in the 80s, excuse me, we saw complete games happening all the time, and people with no hitters would go until they gave up a hit and then get pulled out. There's only been, I think I read through Sunday when Nathan Eovaldi had a complete game against the Orioles, I think there's only been 5 complete games this whole season combined by all 30 teams. It just doesn't work that way in baseball. If you're looking to wager on baseball, or if you're just looking at baseball in general, find a good bullpen, because teams are building their bullpens from the 9th inning backwards nowadays. It's not the way it was. You get your 5 starters and hope your bullpen can save it. They're gonna get 3 innings out of a starter. These openers, they're gonna get 4 innings out of starters. I see a lot of starting pitchers when it comes to contract time are going to be very unhappy because they're getting pulled with leads before 5 innings. And those of you that know out there in YouTube land, you have to go 5 innings as a starting pitcher to get a win. So agents have come up with these analytics that now baseball uses. That's how we got quality starts. That's how we got holds. That's how we got all these analytical statistical driven motives for guys to go into the teams and fight for their contracts. It's because agents did all the work, and now baseball has applied this to where we're at right now. And that's why wins and losses aren't important individually for starting pitchers anymore. Quality starts. Give me 5 innings, 15 outs, 18 outs. We'll get to the bullpen. Bullpen guys are getting wins. Bullpen guys are getting holds. Bullpen guys are getting saves. Find a good bullpen. So as I look at the leaders in the division, Yankees have a good bullpen. Twins have a good bullpen. The White Sox have a good bullpen. Toronto's okay. The Mets have a pretty good bullpen this year. Dodgers, a little shaky in the bullpen, but they're scoring runs left and right. And Milwaukee and St. Louis have a really good bullpen. Milwaukee especially has a really good bullpen. So find a bullpen to follow and start making your wagers on those teams.
Absolutely. Great advice there for sure, Vasu. Can you remind everyone where to find you on all social media outlets and anything else that you wanted to plug?
Facebook, you just find me on Vasu Vaddiparty. On Twitter at VPartySports. On Instagram, VPartySports without the @ symbol. Post some sports stuff every day. Try and make some people mad, get some controversy going. Just have it go. Say, you know what? You can't make everybody happy, right? So why not embrace it, Joe?
Absolutely.
That's the same advice I gave you when you started this, right? Make people mad. And get people on.
3-4 years ago.
Right. I don't think that. Well, when we were 2, right? I got it.
Oh, it feels like a lifetime ago, Vasu. I really appreciate your time today. It is a pleasure to talk with you on the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. You guys, I will be back at the bottom of the hour with David Behrman. Make sure you join me there, Vasu. Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Anytime,
Can't wait
Joe.
to do it.
Anytime, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you.